T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
We're live, they tell us, which beats the alternative. There's your first tip of the day. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. Are you ready to get after it? Today's program, coming to you on the Game Plus Television Network, is really going to be all about tonight. Talk about last night. That was so last night. In case you missed it, the Jaguars won on Monday Night Football, and Scruffy's Cubs are down 0-2 in an NLDS. But that's not where we're going. Sportsnet anchor and best-selling author Ken Reid is going to be with us in hour 2. Mitchell Scruffy Blair is with us here in hour 1. And Mitch, are you ready, as the singer Tiesto says, to get down to business? Are you ready to talk sports?
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Quick 6 show topics. The big story. The Toronto Blue Jays will send Shane Bieber to the mound tonight, hoping to sweep their best-of-5 American League Division Series against the New York Yankees. The host Yankees, who dropped the first 2 games in Toronto, will have lefty Carlos Rodon on the hill. Everybody knows the Jays outscored them 23-8 over the first 2 games of the series in Toronto. That's the most ever runs to open a division series in Major League history. If necessary, Game 4 will be played Wednesday at Yankee Stadium. Scruffy, here's the question. It's our poll right out of the gate for EMJ Marketing. Do the Blue Jays sweep it? What are you voting?
No.
Me too.
No.
Me too. But you tell me why.
The New York Yankees are a different team at home. The Toronto Blue Jays are a different team on the road. And I think the environment tonight at Yankee Stadium is going to be unreal. We'll see how this young team handles that. Shane Bieber should be fine. He's a playoff vet. Now, am I saying that the Blue Jays aren't going to win this series? No, I'm not. But they're not going. I don't think they win tonight, and they probably wrap it up tomorrow. And if it goes to Game 5,
ooh,
if you're a Blue Jays fan.
I don't know if we can handle that one. But after you were on with us yesterday, Greg Zahn came on an hour too, and of course, he's the quote machine. Greg Zahn, the World Series champ, baseball analyst. He's like, they'd have to go blind not to win this series. I think we all agree with that, but I'm with you. I don't think they're going to win tonight, but I do think that they will win it on Game 4 on Wednesday. Do you like the way the Yankees are approaching this? I don't know how much you're following it. I mean, you are, but the Cubs are your team. But Aaron Boone said this has been a strange year in all of Major League Baseball. The Yankees have come back before from down 0-2. That's what we do as the Yankees. Do you like the way the Yankees are approaching this?
What other choice do they have, Roddy?
Yeah,
you know, it's been a bizarre year for the Yankees. And there are a lot of people that think that if the Yankees don't beat the Blue Jays in this series, even if it were to go 5, that Aaron Boone's looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Yankees are the Yankees, and excellence is expected there every year. So we'll see what happens. But right now, what more can Aaron Boone say that he hasn't said already? His team,
you're right.
Got its
you're right.
doors blown off
good.
in Toronto.
He's saying all that he can say.
True.
I'm with you on that. But I think he's a great skipper. But welcome to managing in New York or coaching in New York. They're all ready to fire Brian Table and Aaron Glenn, the football coaches. They just fired the Rangers coach. That's New York for you, baby. And by the way, if we have time later on in this segment with you, or this day with you, I'll tell you something that Mark Trestman said to me last week about what coaching does to your mental health. Just no thanks. Nope. But moving on,
imagine.
Mitch, point 2, Connor McDavid is sticking with the Edmonton Oilers a little longer. The NHL club agreed to a 2-year, $25 million contract extension with its superstar captain Monday, ending months of speculation about his future. So I'm just wondering your take on this, because we found out after you adjourned that it was only 2 years. My take, Mitch, is that really everybody's happy. The Oiler fans got to keep Connor. He got his short deal, cheaper at $12.5. Is it how it looks to me? Everybody's happy. They pleased everybody. I mean, they would like more years, but this is as good as you were going to get to appease all sides. That's how I see it.
Connor McDavid has shocked not only the hockey universe, but I think sports in general by what he has done. He has told the Edmonton Oilers, you have 3 years to get this done. If you can't get this done, when I have left all this money on the table for you so that you cannot use the excuse of the salary cap, the time has come for Stan Bowman or whoever to get the Stanley Cup back in Edmonton.
Was it you that said was it you that just said that he's just put a target on Stan Bowman? Was it you that he? I saw that somewhere on social media. Like, Stan Bowman, you're on notice now.
I think basically, in a way, Roddy, Connor McDavid just became the general manager of the Edmonton Oilers, because he wants to know every move that's going to be made to get this team to where he wants it to be. And make no doubt about it, Connor McDavid wants to stay in Edmonton. He wants to win in Edmonton. And he's given them 3 years. Now, I don't know what happens in the next 3 years. If the Edmonton Oilers were to lose Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final 3 years from now in double overtime, would that be it for Connor? I don't know. But he has put his chips into the middle and said, I am going at $12.5 million. This puts a lot of money on the table for you guys to build a winner around me. Let's see what you do. And I don't know where that starts, but you would have to think that when free agency hits next year, and I haven't looked to see what players are eligible, there's going to be a lot of guys that might want to come to Edmonton because they know what's going on here.
I tell you what, hold that thought. By the way, I think Connor McDavid's been the GM of the Oilers for a while. I mean, I don't disagree. I'm so afraid to say things, but I was led to believe he might have been behind Dave Tippett being fired, and maybe even Jay Woodcroft. I'll just say it. I don't care. I'm not afraid of anybody in Edmonton, but it's what you hear. And everybody's so afraid to say these things. And my God, you would never say that in Edmonton about Connor, but that's just what I heard. So hold your thought on that. I can see. I'm sure a lot of people want to talk about it. 902-518-3033 is the Western Dodge text line. We have a lot to get to when we come back. Opening night in the NHL. We got a lot of football notes. Wayne Gretzky signed a new deal with the NHL on TNT. There's a lot to get to. 902-518-3033 is the Western Dodge text line, and we'll be right back here on the Game Plus Television Network and various podcast platforms.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Nazareth's Canadian Farewell Tour is coming to Moose Jaw. Live at Temple Garden Center, October 17th. With special guest, Lee Aaron. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or sasktix.ca.
RP show continues. I'm going to play our NHL breakaway bets picks coming up with Scruffy before we let him go today. Hour one's brought to you in part by Pump House Steakhouse and Saloon. Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. And the text line is open 902-518-3033. Ready for a new ride? Head to Western Dodge, where the deals are real and the service is legendary. Before I jump into tonight's NHL games, do you want to address what I dropped before the break that I heard Connor McDavid was, and that group was behind the coaching changes in Edmonton over the last several years?
No. I'll take your word on that one. I have never heard that from people. Would it surprise me? No, and I know that you have a good relationship with Dave Tippett, so...
It wasn't from Dave. It didn't come from Dave, but...
Okay, well, as I said, I'm not going to comment on that because I don't know. I've never heard anything about that. Everything I have heard from my Edmonton people about Connor McDavid is that he has been nothing but gracious and cooperative from day one.
I'm not saying he's not. You said he's just become the GM, and I'm saying I think he. I'm saying I think he's been the GM
behind the scenes, Roddy.
Yeah. I'm saying he's been the GM.
I have not been told what goes on behind the scenes.
Okay, it's all good. That's all good. Okay, so let's move along. We can come back on this if need be. Point 3, the NHL's regular season gets underway tonight with 3 games, including one here in Sunrise. The 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion Panthers welcome Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks. Elsewhere, the Pittsburgh Penguins visit the New York Rangers, and the LA Kings host the Colorado Avalanche. Let's just do our picks now for fun. Who wins tonight, Chicago or Florida here, do you think?
On opening night, I'd be hard-pressed not to take the Panthers.
Same here. Pittsburgh at the Rangers. Mike Sullivan faces his former team. Who do you like?
I think Pittsburgh's going to be the worst team in the NHL this year, Rod. But I think they beat the Rangers tonight.
Oh, my God. A scruff bomb. A scruff take.
Pittsburgh will lead the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes.
Okay. And Colorado with the LA Kings.
Colorado. I think the Kings are one of those teams that are going to go this year.
Okay. The Kings had the best home record in the NHL last year. I'm going to take the LA Kings. But while we're sitting here, you're like the first guy I've heard that is that down on Pittsburgh. And I've seen the power rankings. Like, I get they're bad. But that bad?
I think they're going to be the worst team in the NHL this year. You want another hot take?
Sure.
The Toronto Maple Leafs will be lower than either the Ottawa Senators or the Montreal Canadiens in the Atlantic Division standings.
What's in your coffee, Scruffy?
I've got nothing in my coffee, but my water's good this morning.
Are you sure that's
Roddy,
not
I don't
vodka?
think the Leafs are going to be as good as what everybody paints them out to be. They've all tried to hide the fact, we're fine without Mitch Marner. You never replace Mitch Marner. I'm sorry, Matthias Maccelli, Nicholas Roy, those guys. No, I think that team is in for a fall this year. Ottawa's on the rise. Montreal's on the rise. One of those two teams will be better than Toronto this year.
Scruffy is spitting fire. Producer Corey says he loves straight vodka. Rich in Edmonton says Bailey's in coffee. Bomber Boy says listening to Big Papi, Troll, Jeter, and A-Rod on Fox Sports is heavenly. I haven't seen that, but we're going to come back on the broadcast panels in a second. We move along. We go fast. Not as fast as PTI, but we go fast enough. Some football here. Point 4A, quarterback Trevor Lawrence celebrating his 26th birthday, tripped, got up, and scrambled for a 1-yard touchdown with 23 seconds to go to give the Jaguars a 31-28 NFL victory over the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night, putting a capper on Week 5. Your team blew a lead against Tampa Bay and lost. Week 5 was just meh. That's how I feel. How did you feel about Week 5 in the NFL?
It was crazy. There were some games that weren't supposed to end that way. I read a story this morning that I think it was ESPN 33% of their Survivor contest picks that were 4-0 lost because of Arizona on Sunday, which is just amazing. I know I'm done now because I had Buffalo to beat New England, so my Survivor ain't gone. I didn't watch the game last night, at least not all of it. I saw the end of it. I saw what should have been pass interference that wasn't called on Kansas City and went, oh, there's another call for the Chiefs. But can someone please tell me what Chris Jones was doing on the Trevor Lawrence touchdown at the end? If I'm Andy Reid, I'm doing something of team discipline to Chris Jones for that effort. You're paying that guy that much money to have him do what he did on that final play? Wow.
Hey, it does feel like the window is closing or closed
Oh,
on the
yeah.
Chiefs, and that's why we had a poll question right after the Super Bowl. Do the Chiefs get back? And like 70+% of people said, yeah, they'll be back. I voted no. I think the Chiefs are done. It's been a good run, but hello.
Roddy, this
John,
is the prime time. This is the prime time for the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC and get to the Super Bowl. The Ravens are done without Lamar Jackson. The Chiefs look to be done. The Bengals are done without Joe Burrow. What's left for Buffalo? Who's going to challenge Buffalo?
They took a dump against the Patriots. They took a dump against the Patriots. It's not going to be the Patriots, but they took a dump against the Patriots on Sunday night. So maybe that was a wake-up call that they need. By the way, John Ohm says, I love this dynamic of Rod and Scruffy. Oh, everybody does. Maybe we got to put them on in the Vegas hour. And John goes, what does Scruffy think of my Winnipeg Jets? Please tell.
I think the Winnipeg Jets will be right there again in what might be the most competitive division in the NHL. They'll be there. Their window might be closing. They need to get Kyle Connor under contract, but if Kevin Cheveldayoff could get Scheifele and Hellebuck back under contract, I think he can do that with Kyle Connor. They're going to be right there. But they need the goaltender to be the playoff goaltender and not the regular season goaltender. Because Connor Hellebuck just needs to be better in the playoffs. If he was, I think Winnipeg could make a lot of noise in the West, but that team just can't get it done during playoffs. And they also need Josh Morrissey to stay healthy, because I think Josh Morrissey is one of the top 5 defensemen in the NHL. And nobody really talks about him because, 1, he's in Winnipeg, and 2, he's always hurt.
Yeah, well, I've got a Winnipeg-Carolina Stanley Cup final. A lot of people laugh at that, but that's okay. Yeah, well, for reasons we won't get into here, but I'm used to people laughing at me. It doesn't bother me at all. We got a lot of stuff to get to here with the Scruff Dog. Point 4B, I'm staying on the NFL here. Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez is facing felony battery charges for what authorities say was a fight over parking. I'm sure you're following this. A Marion County prosecutor announced the upgraded charge Monday, saying it carries a potential sentence of 1 to 6 years in jail. Like, what the hell? How much do you know about this story with Mark Sanchez?
I've been following it. It gets uglier and uglier by the day.
On his behalf. From
behalf.
What I see.
I just... Do we know what the toxicology... Did they do a toxicology report on Mark Sanchez? Because
I haven't seen one.
He had to have been gooned out of his tree or on something to react the way that he did. Because there's still a lot of unanswered questions here. But I think the one question that we can have answered is that we've probably seen the last of Mark Sanchez on Fox, ESPN, CBS, you know what I mean, for a long time.
Yeah. To be honest, of all the announcers out there, he's not in, I don't care for him on the air at all. This is sad, though. But I will say this, 10 years sober here, as you know, you've seen me at my worst. The worst, you've seen it. 94% of people that will appear in court today will have committed their crimes on some sort of substance. 94% of people that will appear in court today on this continent will have committed their crimes while under the influence. So when you ask, I don't know what it is.
Can I ask you a question?
I feel like you're going to anyway.
I've heard a lot of stories about road trips. I've heard some of them from you. I've heard some of them from other people in different sports. When you go out, do you go out by yourself or is it usually with a group of others? Because why was Mark Sanchez by himself and not some other members of Fox?
I can tell you that in 100% of cases, I went out in a group, but I didn't always come home in a group.
Okay,
like this happened at 2 a.m., right?
Yep.
So my
Nothing
guess
good happens
is
after midnight.
Everybody else went home. Some of us don't go home when everybody else goes home. Moving on to point 5, back to hockey, because this is always fun. I don't know why people like to talk about it as much as they do, but they do. Hockey Hall of Fame players Wayne Gretzky and Henrik Lundqvist have signed multi-year deals to continue their roles as TNT Sports NHL analysts. Gretzky has been with a network since it got U.S. national media rights in 2021. Lundqvist is going into his 4th year in studio with TNT. Maybe it's our age, Mitch. I don't know. But when Gretzky comes on the screen, it's, talk to me, Wayne.
Yep.
Like everybody, Jerry was like that, especially at the start. You know, I wonder if Wayne Gretzky knows how good he is on there. Probably doesn't know how good he is on there.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? You talk about that look with when Wayne comes on. I'm also like that when Messier comes on. And maybe that's part of my Oilers fandom coming through. But I really like the job that Messier does and the stories that he tells. I'm not big on PK Subban, but I was never a big PK Subban fan when he was on the ice.
Yep.
I'm just trying to think of some of the other guys out there. You know, like Bieksa's grown on me. I think Bieksa on ESPN would be great because I think he would have the reins taken off of him. But I've got no problem with what Wayne does. I'd like maybe to see Wayne be a little more humorous. But has Wayne ever been humorous since we got to know who he is, Roddy?
Not really. But that's okay. Is Don Cherry funny? Not really. Rich in Edmonton writes in, he says, season tickets during the Gretzky era in row 2 near the opposing team's net. Glorious days. Ryan in upstate New York writes in, he says, as a New York Jets fan, this was probably the worst weekend as a fan. Their team president was accused of harassment on Friday, the Sanchez incident on Saturday, and getting their doors blown off on Sunday. I saw this stat. Aaron Glenn is the first Jets coach to start his career ever 0-5. First guy to start 0-5 as a Jets coach, which is saying a lot because they've been bad for a long time. John says, I love the USA broadcast over the Canadian broadcast in the NHL. I knew that it would get people going. It always does. I feel like we're going to open up viewer takeover early with Scruffy when we come back because we got a lot of great topics that we've got to already. We'll be right back. And the text line's open, 902-518-3033. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, podcast, and Mission Radio.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada with special guests Ryan and Rory. Yeah, let's keep it November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Scruffy's with me. We're going to open the doors on Viewer Takeover, but before we do, Junior Hockey Report. We like to do it every day for the Mad Greek and Moose Jaw. 3 games in the dub tonight. Lethbridge at Red Deer, Vancouver at Saskatoon, and the Swift Current Broncos visit the Moose Jaw Warriors. Stop in at the Mad Greek, please, and tell the Mad Greek, John, that you saw us talking about him on the RP show. Experience authentic Greek flavors right in Moose Jaw at the Mad Greek Eatery. Open until 11 p.m. Order online, pick up, or dine in at themadgreekeatery.com. And also, don't just watch the RP show, wear it. Shop at rodpedersen.com. Click on RP Store. I will say this, Mitch. I know, you're a Cubs fan, but I don't think you hate the Blue Jays, do you? You're just not a Blue Jays fan. You don't hate them, do you?
No, I don't hate them. I have the same disdain for the Toronto Blue Jays that I have for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The constant shoveling of you-know-what down our throats that tell you that they're the best thing since sliced bread. Stop.
Do you not get tired of that order? There's order propaganda, too. How's that any different?
It's not as much, though, Rod. It's not as much. And the other thing is, when I watch a game, I want to see the host broadcaster, and you and I have discussed this when you were doing Rider games. You were never, ever afraid to say if somebody from the home team, the Riders, did something wrong, you would say it. I'm so sick of the Blue Jays, and it's like, this guy, he's the greatest thing going, and then he doesn't do anything. Oh, he was never a good fit. No, how about you just tell me that he's a load of crap? At some point, I'd like to see Buck Martinez come out and say, Jeff Hoffman cannot win games or cannot save games for the Blue Jays if he continues on. Instead of this, he's going through a rough patch, Dan. He's been going through a rough patch since opening night.
Greg Zahn basically said that here yesterday after you adjourned, by the way. But here's the thing, Mitch. You and I not only had a front row seat when it changed, we were in the ring. I'm sitting here going, how did it change? You know, I spent all that time in Arizona. The Phoenix Suns have been the worst team in the NBA for a long time. I remember watching the games, the Suns, and I'm like, the analysts are saying how great they are. I'm like, I'm watching this. You're losing by 50 points. What do you mean? How did this happen? I don't know. We were there, Mitch.
Yeah,
I guess we weren't paying attention.
And when Caleb Joseph comes on and tells me that George Springer should be considered for the MVP of the American League, Caleb, you've been watching baseball all year. Do you not know who Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh are? Like, come on. Quit trying to feed that crap down our throat. As a guy that knows baseball, George Springer's had a great year. Will George Springer get a first-place vote unless it's from someone from the Blue Jays? No.
Yeah, that's the way that it is. BC Eric writes in. He says, you nailed it, Scruffy. Sportsnet is pumped down our throats with nothing but Toronto bias. Allie in Texas has checked in. She says, happy NHL opening day, RP and squad. Hey, Allie, rewind. Scruffy and I went through our picks for the games tonight. And I'll be talking a lot more NHL after he's gone. Right now, we're talking some football for y'all. Arlen Bruce is watching. He writes in. He says, great morning, RP. I would not count the Chiefs out just yet. I got 11 out of 12 on picking NFL games this past week. I think Bo Levi and Nathan Rourke are the CFL's most outstanding players. Has there ever been a tie? No. And Wayne in BC writes in. He says, I wonder what Joe Namath thinks of how the Jets have started this season. Oh, my God. I would think Broadway Joe's used to it. That wouldn't be... No, Joe don't care. He didn't care.
Joe's probably numb to the fact that the Jets are where they are, because by this time each year, this is where the Jets are.
Oh, yeah, this is not new. Joe's like any Jets fan, which I was saying, telling somebody the other day, I had a tour of MetLife Stadium, 2017, 2018, and they have a Giants trophy room. It's really cool. And you go in there, and there's 5 Super Bowls they've won. And the best, all the murals, Lawrence Taylor and the great Parcells and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I said, where's the Jets room? They're like, it's the broom closet. Like, it's not even, yeah. Colin in Ottawa writes in, he says, I like the Blue Jays, but Ben Nicholson-Smith is like Pravda for Rogers, just like Arash before him. I don't even know who Ben Nicholson-Smith is. So, yeah. Ryan in upstate New York says the Jets are who their record says they are. And they are terrible. You heard me talk. It's a little more on this. I know this isn't a big college football crowd, but I wedged this in yesterday when I said Mario Cristobal was on the radio live yesterday talking to the host. Joe Rose is the host of Mitch, he's the Carm Carteri of Miami. Played for the Dolphins, does color for the Dolphins, but he hosts a radio show every morning. And Cristobal was going off about people saying, oh, you're 5-0, it's because you bought your team. Why do you care, Mario? Why do you care? Is that just football people? Or I would think that's natural, would go along in the NIL era that people would say that. Why would a coach be so mad? He went off, Mitch.
Really?
Yeah. I was surprised, you're
question.
surprised.
I think a lot of people, before NIL came out, you had your powerhouses. And now you've got teams that now they have some money, they can continue on with that. You take a look at this weekend, you're going to have a top 10 battle, Indiana and Oregon. Oregon's got a lot of money. Indiana doesn't. Oregon can go out and get those players. Indiana can't, at least not right now. So it's always sort of the David versus Goliath. And right now, you know, Miami's got the money. They're investing it. We're seeing where they are. Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, although they're sinking like a stone.
Ooh.
If you've got the money, do what you have to do. Look at Penn State when it comes to hockey, Rod. Look at Penn State when it comes to hockey. They've got Gavin McKenna, they've got Jackson Smith, and they did pretty well in their first weekend against Arizona State. You think that's going to stop? No.
Wayne in BC writes in, he says, Scruffy is so awesome today. Mind you, he's a great guest. Would you all stop kissing Scruffy's ass? Because you know what's going to happen. It's going to go to his head, and we can't have that. Arlen Bruce III writes in, AB says, how can you be from Canada and not like the Toronto Blue Jays? Whether they win or not, the whole country should cheer for them. I will then go Blue Jays. Well, Mitch, you were a Cubs fan prior to 1977 when the Blue Jays showed up. That would be my guess as to why.
No, I became a Cubs fan in the mid-'80s when WGN-TV started getting broadcast into my home.
Holy cow.
Yep. Harry Carey, Steve Stone. And you know, Roddy, that brings up a great point.
Make it quick.
How many people grew up with WDIV, George Kell, and Al Kaline doing Tigers games? You're one of them. You and I had Bernie Smilovitz on once on the Sports Cage.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Exactly. If the Detroit Tigers play the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League Championship Series, I think there's going to be a lot of people in this neck of the woods that are going to be torn a little bit because they grew up cheering for the Tigers. Kurt Gibson, Chet Lemon, as I said, George Kell, Al Kaline, those guys.
Jim Leland.
WDIV used to have, I think, 100 of 162 games on the air. We had more Tiger games than Blue Jays games growing up.
I know. I don't think so, though. I think the Blue Jays, they will be by far the rooting interest from coast to coast, sea to shining sea, and across the wheat fields of Saskatchewan. Okay, Scruffy, we got our nickels worth out of you. Go have a great Regina Day.
Have a fun night at Amerant Bank Arena, or should I say afternoon? Say hi to Connor Bedard from all the Pats fans.
I will. I will. I'm sure he'll return it. Thank you, Scruffy. We'll be right back. Don't exit out just yet. We'll be right back with a sports update and viewer takeover live here on Game Plus Television.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste. Savor. Share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Okay, everybody. We're back at it, and I want to tell you that hour one of your favorite daytime sports talk show is brought to you in part by Outlaw Communications. When you're looking for strategic communications with impact, Outlaw Communications delivers. Tony Plater, my longtime friend with 35 years of communication and leadership experience, specializes in media relations training, leadership coaching, and crisis communication strategy. He's actually very good at it. You need sharp writing or website content? Tony will make it connect. When you want strategy before tactics, call 306-570-6913 or visit tonyplater.com. Outlaw Communications, where creativity is not a hobby, it's a way of life. Everybody's loving Scruffy's appearance today on the program. He brings the heat. You don't get on this show unless you're good. Kirk in Toronto writes in on the Western Dodge text line, and he says, hi, Rod. Does Scruffy hate the Argonauts too? No, because, Kirk, if you were paying attention, Mitch is tired of the Leaf Blue Jays propaganda machine. There is no Argos propaganda machine. There isn't. Sorry to break people's hearts, but he's just tired of being. So, no, he didn't hate the Argos. And by the way, Kirk says 9.5 million Canadians watched both games over the weekend. How about that? He's talking about the Blue Jays games. And here's the thing about that. I get it. Because I am the guy that follows the Blue Jays when they're winning. And I'm a career Canadian sportscaster. Grew up a Blue Jays fan. But when they were terrible for 20 years, I lost interest. And obviously my job was football and hockey. But I get these people, because what I don't understand is, like, CFL playoff ratings are like so high in November. Where were we all year? We've been following it all year. But that's me with baseball, so I get it. But the one thing is, somebody pointed this out, it's not just the Blue Jays. These were the highest division ratings in the history of Major League Baseball. I saw that somewhere this morning, and it's like, why is baseball having a renaissance? You know what's kind of funny about that? It's not like I'm not paying attention. And I think most of you now know that I work in baseball, both here in Florida and in the Western Canadian Baseball League. So I'm not out of tune with baseball. They made their changes to the game at the Major League Baseball level, and some of them have filtered down to the minor league level, of which I work in. And it's sped up the games. It's made it less boring. They've tweaked it. And yet when you got the CFL fans they've made these changes. I don't ever remember the furor. And I've said it a lot of times. I don't want to belabor it here, but I don't remember the furor over the NHL taking out the red line. I didn't really care. Do what you got to do. The 3-on-3 in overtime. The shootout people had a big problem with. I get that, but I didn't see people canceling their season tickets. Like, what's going on with the CFL is out of control with them trying to streamline, modernize the game. So, by the way, it's worked for baseball. Nobody had that big of an issue with it. Hockey, too. But when it comes to the CFL, give me a break. Oh, and by the way, before I get to this sports, we do have the nice sports update. We have the nice mixture here because I know everybody thinks we just flip a switch and go on the air and talk junk all day. There is a little bit of planning that goes behind it, believe it or not. And so basically half the program's with a guest, half is just me. And I got guests in from Saskatchewan staying with me this week, and it's been awesome. They're actually out at the mall right now while I'm on the air. And as second we're off the air, we're racing down to Sunrise because it's an early game, 5 o'clock. But I'm driving them around. It's funny. I went and rented a vehicle for my guests, for me to drive them around. So I get to the car rental place. The guy's name's John. His parents are from Newfoundland. And he goes, well, we got you mid-size here. We're going to give you a Jeep. What do you think of that? I'm like, not much. I have a Jeep. He's like, why are you renting a car? I'm like, because my Jeep is topless, and in case it rains, I want to drive them around in comfort. And he's like, this is a 4-door Jeep Wrangler. So I said, big enough for luggage? He's like, yeah. Well, it's great because we drove around for 2-3 hours yesterday all over South Florida, and I took them to the Panthers practice facility. And we're kind of getting into worlds are coming together here. It's funny. While we were at the Panthers facility, last night was the night of the ceremony that the Panthers got their Stanley Cup rings. Guess who was walking around? Here comes Matthew Tkachuk and Bill Zito in their navy suits, white shirts, and red ties. Everybody dresses the same with this team. It's like a prep thing, but it's kind of cool. And then hobbling into the War Memorial Theater was a guy in a suit with a huge whatever you want to call it, not a cast, but the thing they wrap around your leg, the nylon, black nylon, and crutches. I'm like, that's Barkov. That's Barkov. That was my reaction. I turned to Joanne. She was like, so? And then a Range Rover pulls up. I'm not going to tell you what color because I don't want to be stalker boy, but who gets out? Sergei Bobrovsky. I'm like, there's Bob. Just as we were milling about in the front of the facility. And so they're kind of getting a kick out of that. And I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want to be friends with them. I don't want to know what's going on. I just want to cover the team, be around it, and love it, and be excited to be around them. That's exactly what I want. It's what I have. Couldn't be happier. And then the friends that are down here staying with me are friends of the Bedards. Kind of Bedard. So they're going to be wearing Blackhawks gear tonight at American Bank Arena. We'll see how it goes. But I don't know. I just want to be a fan again, but I want to be able to cover the team and talk about it on the air. It's actually worked. It's amazing. Life doesn't usually go according to plan, but this did. It's time for your sports update, brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw, your home for jerseys, collectibles, and all the gear you need. Visit them today or online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Jackson Churio and Andrew Vaughn each had a home run and 3 RBIs as the Milwaukee Brewers defeated the visiting Chicago Cubs 7-3 Monday to grab a 2-0 lead in that best-of-7 NLDS. Blake Snell allowed 1 hit in 6 shutout innings, striking out 9, and the visiting Dodgers barely turned back Philadelphia's late rally for a 4-3 victory over the Phillies in Game 2 of that NLDS. The defending World Series champion Dodgers can reach their 17th NL Championship Series with a Game 3 win Wednesday in L.A. Christian Braun scored 19 points. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic added 17 each, and the Denver Nuggets outlasted the Raptors 112-108 in an NBA preseason game played at Rogers Arena in Vancouver. Get out of here with the NBA preseason. Meanwhile, the NHL has suspended Tampa Bay forward Scott Sabourin 4 games and Lightning defenseman J.J. Moser 2 games for their actions in a preseason game Saturday against Florida. Sabourin was given a match penalty for going after Florida defenseman Aaron Ekblad, and Moser was punished for boarding Panthers forward Jesper Boquist. Officials called 65 penalties and issued 13 game misconducts in the matchup. So I was there, as a lot of you will know, and I took my neighbor Fish. He'd never been to a hockey game before. That was the first game he ever went to. He hasn't stopped talking about it. I would have liked to have taken my mom to the game. She's not with us anymore, but I would have loved to have heard what my mom had to say about that game. She'd have been not beside herself, but like it was vicious. I remember saying to my mom when I was a kid, I'm like, Mom, how come you're such a hockey fan? She's like, well, your dad works in the NHL and I have 3 sons. I don't have a choice. And she picked it up real fast. But with that Sabourin, he came off the bench, went straight at Ekblad and drilled him right in the head. I'm like, oh. This was not patty cake stuff that we've gotten used to. On Monday night, Carolina was here for a preseason game, and they track hits now on the scoreboard. There's a really big new scoreboard. The Panthers didn't even have a hit 12 minutes into the first period. That's kind of what I was expecting Saturday night between the Panthers and Lightning. It's like let's just get the preseason over with and get ready to open the season. No. The Tampa Bay Lightning were like, this was 1977 Philadelphia Flyers Russian Red Army stuff. They were out to hurt people. I love it. I don't know if anybody has there been a statement from John Cooper, the head coach of the Lightning, after he was fined $25,000 or a $100,000 fine to the team? Producer Corey is doing a Russian imitation in my ear. I was very excited to see Sergei Bobrovsky last night. Oh, there's Bob. Arlen Bruce writes in, he says, RP, I'm definitely not a hater. I've met and spoke to this gentleman 2 to 3 times, but I don't drink Hennessy because it gives me bubble guts. I'm talking about LeBron James. I would never have pegged you as a hater, AB. I think that's why we get along. I'm not a hater of anything. I don't have the energy to hate anything. And I don't think you do either. I would have never thought that. Glenn in Medicine Hat writes, and he says, I suppose RP could ask Ken Reid about Sportsnet's apparent Toronto bias. We probably know the answer. The same shoe would probably fit for TSN. Why would I ask Ken Reid about, why do you guys only care about Toronto? I don't care about, have you been to Toronto? Like, Moose moved there. Toronto is this vacuum. I mean, I respect it. I've been there. All those outlying areas, they don't care about what goes on outside the country. But you know what? It's very similar here in Florida. Nobody cares what goes on outside Florida. Trust me, I know adults that have never left the state. They've never left. Don't feel the need to. And don't get me going on the people from Saskatchewan that don't even think about what goes on outside the province. That's where the TV channels are. And that's all they care about. The end. It's a mentality. Okay. Hour 2 and I don't hate it. You don't hear me railing about it every day like you people. We'll be right back with Hour 2 right after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Spirits of Italian. Come in. Enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Famoso. Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste. Savor. Share. Famoso. The spirit of Italian. Come in. Enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
It's the RP Show, everybody. Welcome aboard. Choo-choo. Airing in a variety of places here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, as well as the Game Plus Television Network. So, for those that are a little slow, that's all across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, and across Canada and 32 U.S. states on the Game Plus Television Network. And then we're on YouTube Live and podcast and 1700 Mission Radio. So wherever you are, get comfy, settle in. Glad to have you aboard. Our guest coming up today, Ken Reid, Sportsnet anchor and the author of many leather-bound books. He's got a new one out. Hang on here. And I'm quite excited about this to talk to him about Ken Reid's latest book, The Next One. Stories from hockey scouts, remote rinks, and hidden talent. Ken Reid, and he can talk about Blue Jays baseball in general. He can talk some NFL, and obviously his latest book. I'm very excited about that. So that's coming up in the next segment. So that means we don't have a lot of time here with a lot of things to get to. As I said, we will always be the Blue Jays show. I don't see that ever changing. And that certainly works well with our Toronto-based network, Game Plus TV. Mind you, with Anthem, you guys are out of New York too, right? This New York-Toronto playoff series is really fitting in nicely. And tonight, the Blue Jays are sending Shane Bieber to the mound for Game 3, hoping to complete the sweep of this American League Division Series against the Yankees. The host Yankees, who dropped the first two games at Rogers Center over the weekend, will have lefty Carlos Rodon on the hill. Toronto outscored New York 23-8 over the two weekend games, the most runs ever scored by a team in the history of Division Series in Major League Baseball. Now, if Game 4 is necessary, it'll go Wednesday night, also at Yankee Stadium. But our poll question today, might as well get that out of the way right now for EMJ Marketing. Transform your audience with powerful presentations from EMJ Marketing's elite speakers. Check out their website for more at emjmarketing.com. Will the Blue Jays complete the sweep tonight? I voted no. Our hour one guest, Scruffy, voted no. But I think the Blue Jays are going to come back and win it in Wednesday's game 4. I do. And it's not about the pitching matchup. It's not about Bieber versus Rodon. Bieber's been here before. And obviously so is Rodon. To me, it's the mystique of Yankee Stadium. New York is not going away. I like what their manager, Aaron Boone, is saying. Look at that lineup. You think Aaron Judge might have something to say about it? It is must-see TV tonight. There's no doubt about it. Game 3 of the American League Division Series. The results of the poll, 57% are saying yes, it ends tonight with a sweep. Get out the brooms. It's a huge night. We're not even talking about last night. Point 2, the NHL's regular season gets underway today with 3 games, including one at American Bank Arena here in Sunrise, Florida, between the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers and the visiting Chicago Blackhawks and their young star, Connor Bedard. Elsewhere, the Pittsburgh Penguins visit the New York Rangers and the LA Kings host the Colorado Avalanche. We'll be doing a thing where we do NHL breakaway bets every day. And we did it last hour. There's only 3 games. Scruffy was with me last hour. But, yeah, I'm going to the game in Sunrise tonight. I got friends that are come down from Canada, friends of the Bedard family, and they'll be wearing Blackhawks gear. And I said, you don't got to worry at all about going into American Bank Arena wearing the opposing gear. You don't have to worry about that. It's Florida. Everybody's happy here. Everybody's nice. It's a tourist mecca. Come on in. Make yourself at home. It's hockey. Unless the Bruins are in town, but that's another story. 3 games tonight. And also, that's the one that I'll be at. But the tantalizing thing, Mike Sullivan leads the New York Rangers against the team that fired him last year at the end of last season, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the team with which he won 2 Stanley Cups. And then the late game is the Colorado Avalanche at the LA Kings. Like, we don't really get into betting here, and if we do, it's something that I call sport betting. I know in Vegas that's probably a swear word. I don't really bet, but it's not good for a guy like me. But we do sport betting. It's like sport fishing. You catch the fish, you throw it back. You make a bet, you just don't put money on it. Maybe a lunch, or a funny gag or whatever, but not something that you're going to lose your house. I'm just saying. So we'll give betting tips. The LA Kings had the best home record in the NHL last year, tied a franchise record for wins. I got LA to win tonight, Rangers and the Panthers. You're welcome. Point 3 is a couple of hockey items that came down the pipe yesterday. Connor McDavid is sticking with the Edmonton Oilers just a little longer. The NHL team agreed to a 2-year, $25 million extension on Monday, ending months of speculation. Thank God. I was tired of hearing about it at the 1st of September. Now it's over for at least 3 more seasons. And you watched this show yesterday, right? You're not a dummy. This happened while we were on the air yesterday. The quick analysis was that everybody's happy here. The Oilers got to extend their captain, their star. He gets his short deal that he wanted. And the team's happy because it's at $12.5 million. It's no raise for him. So they can spread more around the roster, a la Tom Brady, a la Sidney Crosby. Worked for them. Better work in Edmonton. That's our analysis. It hasn't changed from the last 24 hours. It's a good deal. So the fans are happy. Connor's happy. The Oilers are happy. Everybody's happy. Now they got to go win a Stanley Cup. And it would not hurt my feelings if they did. Will they be facing Florida for a 3rd straight year in the Stanley Cup final? Will they even get to the Stanley Cup final? I don't know. But it's going to be a lot of fun watching the banner go to the rafters tonight at American Bank Arena. Point 3B. I'll just say this again. The NHL has suspended Tampa Bay forward Scott Sabourin 4 games, Lightning defenseman J.J. Moser 2 games for their actions in a preseason game here Saturday against Florida. It was a game where 13 players got kicked out. I guess 65 penalties in all were called. That doesn't seem like a lot, but it was a lot. And I said near the end of hour 1 that I would have liked to have had my mom with me at the game. I had my neighbor Fish with me. He'd never been at a hockey game before. He hasn't stopped talking about it. But my mom, just so you know, she would have said, that Sabourin's a mean bastard. That's what she would have said. Or she would have said, that Sabourin's a mean son of a bitch. Yeah. It was old-time hockey, man, the likes of which I didn't think existed anymore. Where the heck is it? BC Eric writes in and he says, I miss old-time hockey. There it is. He goes, I miss the old school NHL. Here's what I'll say about that. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. And when it does come around, we can just enjoy it a little bit more. Because we're not going to see a night like what happened. It'll be a long time before we do. Oh, and by the way, yeah, I'm wearing my Florida Panthers gear. I know I also look like a rodeo clown or a NASCAR driver, but my friend Mark Gunry, he runs a clothing company. It's a Florida clothing brand called Whole Life. He made all these shirts for me. This was the first one, Florida Panthers colors, and then he made me a bunch of NFL and NHL ones. So, yeah, I'm wearing it for Panthers game day. Let's go. 902-518-3033 is the text line. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Visit them in Moose Jaw or visit online at westerndodge.ca. No, Brad, you're wrong. Brad from Winnipeg. I got friends here from Canada. I was showing them around yesterday. I took them to the Panthers practice facility, and I said, there's a guy in this thing on his right leg. I was fumbling around for the word of it. He's on crutches. I'm like, oh, that's Barkov. After years and years and years of working in sports and getting to know the players, which I love them, I'm at a point in my life now where I don't need to get to be friends with, I don't want to be friends with them. I don't want to know too much. I just want to go to the games, come here and talk to you about it and just admire the players from afar. That's where I'm at. I couldn't find the name. Brad in Winnipeg writes in, he's watching on television right now. He says, it's called a walking boot. It's not a walking boot. It's called a brace. It was a brace. He tore ligaments in his knee. But thank you, Brad, for helping out. The injury for torn ACL, MCL would bring about a brace, not a walking boot. But thank you for your help. I appreciate that. Moving on to football. Like I said, this is all about tonight, as far as I'm concerned. Game 3 of the ALDS, opening night in the NHL. But Monday night, quarterback Trevor Lawrence, celebrating his 26th birthday, tripped, got up, and scrambled for a 1-yard touchdown with 23 seconds to go in the game to lift the Jacksonville Jaguars to a 31-28 NFL victory over the visiting Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Kareem Hunt had put the Chiefs ahead 28-24 with a 2-yard touchdown run with 1:45 to go. Jags now 4-1. Chiefs slipped to 2-3. That's the end of week 5, and I'm sitting here, I think we all are going, who's for real? This is the fun time of the year. We're coming up on Halloween. Are the Jacksonville Jaguars wearing a mask at 4-1? Are the Indianapolis Colts wearing a mask at 4-1? God, please tell me the Vegas Raiders are wearing a mask at 1-4. Who's masquerading around right now as not what they appear to be? You know what I'm saying? Or as Bill Parcells said and John Frenzy made famous, your record is what you are. You are what your record says you are. That was the Parcells line. John Frenzy made it famous. That would be a good poll question for later in the week. Which NFL team is a mirage? Because you can't do it all year. You usually do it around this opening third of the season. And in the case of NHL hockey, we usually do it around actual Halloween time. Who's not what they seem? What's a mirage? Who's a mirage? 902-518-3033. Ryan in upstate New York writes in. He says, I'm excited for this evening. Triple header of games on ESPN. Although I think Florida-Chicago should be in the 8 p.m. slot instead of Pittsburgh Rangers. Write ESPN and tell me what they say. I'd love to know. All I know is we'll be there. Lining up my friends. Brent from Wellington, Florida. You see him on the bottom of the screen. He has graciously offered to take my friends that are here from Canada out on his boat for lunch Thursday or Wednesday. Whatever. I only worry one day at a time, which is actually, I'll get to that. Ken in Mississauga is watching. He says, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. That is good advice. Certified recovery coach here, mental health and addiction recovery. Sometimes we all need to, in this industry, even remind ourselves of that. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. It has got me through a lot of scrapes. I'll tell you that. Where was I? Point 4B. I'm not sure we'll even get through all the quick six show talk. As a matter of fact, I know we won't. Because Ken Reid will be joining us next. We're getting tight on time. But former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez is facing a felony battery charge for what authorities say was a fight over parking on the weekend in Indianapolis. A Marion County prosecutor announced the upgraded charge Monday, saying it carries a potential sentence of 1 to 6 years in jail. The incident happened early Saturday in Indy. A police affidavit alleges the 38-year-old Sanchez, smelling of alcohol, confronted a 69-year-old truck driver who pulled a knife to defend himself. The former New York Jet was pepper sprayed and stabbed multiple times. We discussed this last hour with Scruffy, and none of it really makes sense. It's a sad story. It bothers me that people are laughing about the incident because what part of that is funny? But it's back to that recovery coaching job of mine. Like this, I'm not looking down my nose at anybody. Highly grateful and lucky that I was never arrested for anything. Should have been. 94% of people that will appear in court on this continent today committed their crimes while under the influence of something. So what I do is I don't have anything against the substances, but if you want to quit and you can't, then call me. In the case of Mark Sanchez, it's a sad story that's very preventable. And lucky some of us got out to tell the tale. I don't know how this ends for Mark Sanchez, but I don't think we'll see him on TV again. Point 5. Hockey Hall of Fame players Wayne Gretzky and Henrik Lundqvist have signed multi-year deals to continue their roles as NHL and TNT analysts. Gretzky has been with the network since it got U.S. national media rights in 2021. Lundqvist is going into his 4th year in studio with TNT. Gretzky's deal was announced on Monday on the eve of the start of the new season. And it's the thing about Wayne. We all love him. I had a crew cut haircut like him. I was an Oilers fan because of him. And I stopped being an Oilers fan the day that he was traded, August 9th, 1988. And I just absolutely love him on the television. And the second that he comes on, everything stops. Let's hear what Wayne has to say. It used to be that way with Don Cherry. Not anymore, but Gretzky has his own way of doing things, which he always has. And there's absolutely no doubt that he's the best analyst on TV now for hockey. Last hour, Scruffy mentioned that Mark Messier is really good, and that's true. He's almost as good as Wayne, but just like a player, he was almost as good as Wayne. Wayne's still Wayne. And the thing with Messier, it's nice how he just tolerates PK Subban, the way he looks at him on the panel with that smirk. It's great. So the NHL on TNT does it right. And speaking of guys that do it right, Ken Reid joins us next. Sportsnet anchor, best-selling author. He joins us next. I can't wait. We're live across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, across Canada and 32 U.S. states here on Game Plus TV. We'll be right back after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
RP Show continues. Hour 2 is brought to you in part by Cool Bet. Claim your welcome bet bonus up to $200 with the promo code RP200 at coolbet.com. Canadian viewers only. Sorry. That would include Ken Reid, Sportsnet anchor, best-selling author. How you doing, Kenny boy?
I'm awesome, Rod. I love that you brought your buddy Fish to his first NHL game and all hell breaks loose, and Fish is now a hockey fan. Listen, Don was right all along. We love our tilts. Listen, I'm going to grab this off the wall right now. The only guy who didn't like the tilts was Johnny Upton, right? Johnny didn't like
Well, Johnny always says.
Johnny always
you can
says.
only drink.
That's right. We won't go further than that.
I stopped you. Continue. Keep going.
I love
Keep going.
that your buddy is addicted to hockey now. And despite what all the people who actually don't watch say, we love the tilts. Love it.
Oh, it was wild. It was, and then listen, we'll come back around on that. Am I, you being from Pictou, Nova Scotia, are you hockey first? Are you hockey first?
Yes,
okay.
Always.
Yeah, you have a Jays hat on. So what a night in sports. Game 3 ALDS and NHL opening night. It's like the greatest thing that I can think of in a real long time.
It's awesome. I'm going to be doing triple duty tonight at work. But yeah, we're a baseball hockey house. My kids both play hockey and baseball. That's kind of what I played growing up, mixed with some golf. So we are a baseball hockey house. We're surrounded by baseball, hockey cards, memorabilia down here in the basement. And people said, hey, are you going to the game? The first 2 games. Well, first off, I couldn't get tickets, which surprised a lot of people. You know how it is, Rod. So I watched it on the couch with my kids. We had a blast. And it is absolutely electric in this city. But I'll be honest, the Yankees still scare me, especially with all those left-handed bats at a short porch where you got Shane Bieber who's going to have to work it inside. So don't give the Yankees a chance. They still scare me. But I still can't believe that the absolute beatdown it was over the weekend. It looked like Florida and Tampa, except one team was throwing all the punches.
Yeah. Cabby was always my hookup for Jays tickets.
For Jays
But
tickets?
he gone. Yeah, he gone.
Yeah.
He's in Vegas now, right? Yeah.
I can call in the odd favor, but you gotta save your favors, right? So I save my favors. There might be bigger games to come, maybe, but to be honest, I'm going to be on the desk anyway, coming at all these big games. So I live where your feet are, Rod. So I totally enjoy watching with the kids.
I like the way you think, but also our poll question today for EMJ Marketing is: do the Jays pull off the sweep? What are you voting, Ken?
I will vote yes, and I'm going to vote yes because I think like in baseball, you always want to bat last, I think. But I think tonight, I want to bat first if I'm the Jays. If you can put a 1-up in the top of the first or maybe even a crooked number, that place might just turn on itself. It'd be an all-out zoo. It's going to be a zoo anyway, but if the fans turn on the Yanks, that could be interesting. And I love the way they've pitched to/around Judge so far. Give up a single, walk the guy, who cares? Just don't let him feast. So I will vote yes. They sweep tonight.
57% of respondents are voting yes for EMJ Marketing Speakers Bureau. They sponsor our poll every day. And listen, we're going to get to the hockey. We do have about 20 minutes here in the segment, though. So we'll have a lot of time for that. But are you still doing as much NFL coverage with Kyle Brandt as you always did?
Kyl's not around this year. We're just so consumed by Jays that there's really nowhere to put it. I mean, we're coming up. This is what I've been told. We're coming up out of Blue Jays. You got 3-4 million people watching the Jays, so we're serving that Jays audience. So once baseball ends, hopefully it's back. We get Kyle back once a week because I don't know what it is, Rod, but Kyle Brandt and I have never met face to face, but we kind of determined that we've had the same childhood. I'm sure if I went to Kyle's house, his wall would be like this, except with football guys. I don't know. We just connect. And I really, really hope that I get back to doing things with Kyle on Wednesdays on Sportsnet Central.
I have an idea what would happen if you did met. It would be a long embrace. We're talking about Kyle Brandt from the NFL Network. There's no doubt about that. Well, let me just say the last football. I have a football question. How would you describe Week 5? Because to me, I kind of felt like it was me. But Scruffy was with us last hour, and he's like, "Oh, wild comebacks, unpredictable games." So maybe it was better than I thought.
Unpredictable. Yeah. Stefan Diggs, I love his quote. Was it personal? Yeah, it was personal. I love that. That's one thing I love about NFL players. They won't cliche it up most of the time because, I mean, how many guys are there on a roster? There's 50 plus the practice guys? I don't know. So if, aside from the quarterback, if you get a mic shoved in your face, it's actually a pretty cool event. So was it personal? Yeah, it was personal coming back to Buffalo. I absolutely love that. So I would say unpredictable. Yeah. For New England to go and beat Buffalo in Buffalo, unpredictable. That's a good way to put it.
Well, NFL football is like pizza. It's all good. I guess just some's better than others, and also unpredictable.
And usually when you're a kid, you only get pizza once a week or once a month, right? So that makes the pizza better. So you only get the NFL game. Your own team only plays once a week, so that makes it better.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. Okay. To the hockey. Well, I'm dying to ask you about your book because the next one, Hockey Scouts, Remote Rinks, and Hidden Talent. My dad's a Hall of Fame scout in the NHL. That's his goalie mask over my shoulder there. Beautiful. Went into the Hall of Fame this summer with the Dallas Stars. So as soon as I saw that, Ken, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
The next one, Hockey Scouts, Remote Rinks, and Hidden Talent. Tell me about it.
So as you can see, I went all out with my decorating budget behind me, right? There's 2 books up there. I didn't put one behind my head. I have one on this side of the ironing board that satisfies as my desk. So Rod, this idea was from Kevin Hansen, who was the then president of Simon & Schuster. He said, Hockey Scouts must have countless stories. I said, yeah, they do. So as you know, scouts don't get a lot of publicity. They are, what would you say? They're the sous chefs of the NHL, the mechanics of the NHL.
They're the backbone.
They're the backbone of the NHL. So if you see everybody out there doing their thing, there's a scout that ultimately maybe started somebody on a road. So let's shine some light on these guys and girls. Let's give them their flowers, and let's get some stories out of them. And I know for a scientific fact, there's some names in this book that you will know. As an old WHL guy, I'll throw 3 at you right now, and you can take it away if you want to. Ken Fox, Rick Knickel, and Brad Davis, the son of Lauren.
Foxy from Holdfast, Saskatchewan. There's one. Brad Davis, the son of the legendary Lauren Davis. of course. I would rather you interviewed Lauren, to be honest. And
Yes.
Rick Knickel was a beauty, famed backup goalie with the LA Kings. So that's, I know them all. Okay, continue.
So, I mean, what I wanted to get into, I didn't want to get into how do you find a player, because, I mean, and how do you identify this player? There's a little bit of that, but this is road story. So, you know, like the guys from the Oilers would say the best fights in the world in the scouting room were Brad against Lauren. But Brad said one of his big things was he's fighting with his dad. He's screaming with his dad. And then his dad, Lauren, says, that's a good point. And he learned that you have to listen, because this is a guy that was brought up at his table, learning. He got a PhD sitting at his kitchen table, listening to his father and everybody that would come through town, and, you know, reffing in the dub with an awesome mullet. Some of the coaches would call him Mr. Perfect because of his mullet. And then you got a guy like Ken Fox, who's a farmer, answers an ad in the Hockey News for Scout Wanted, applies with the Red Deer Rebels, ends up finding a guy like Aaron Asham, had to go way off the grid to find Ash.
Yeah, the rest is history.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. And
finds Colby Armstrong, you know, 6th-round pick, skinny kid who develops into this crushing machine. Then you got Rick Knickel. As you said, Rod, one of the coolest stories of all time. I think he was 31 years old when he ultimately signed with the Kings. Lights the world on fire. Good Greenwood, Nova Scotia boy, too. He likes to call his dad the Walter Gretzky of Nova Scotia. But shows up, has a ride with the LA Kings, ends up, you know, becoming a scout. He's helping out in Brandon where he used to play, and he's helping out at a Wheat Kings Bantam camp, and he's going, who's that kid over there? Who's that 14-year-old who just beat the living cripes out of a guy? Oh, there's a kid named Jordan Tutu. He's from Rankin Inlet. He's what? Ends up drafting Jordan Tutu to the Nashville Predators. There's another name I know you will know, Archie Henderson.
Big Arch.
Just Big Arch, all-time beauty. I mean, Archie's so old that when he got drafted by a general from Washington, he thought he was going to the Vietnam War. Instead, he was going to the Washington Capitals. That's Archie's story. But there's just some fantastic stories in here of how do you find a fourth-line guy? How does Antoine Roussel go from being not drafted to the Q, not drafted to the NHL, to playing over 600 games? It's not difficult to identify a Connor McDavid or a Connor Bedard. But how do you find these third, fourth-line guys? And what happens on the road in between when you're looking for these guys? Breaking news, a lot happens. There's some fantastic hockey stories in here. So I like to think my books are just sitting around having a soda pop, sitting around having a coffee and shooting the breeze. And that's definitely what I got out of this one. So if you're looking for a statistical breakdown of what makes a great hockey player, not going to be in this book. If you're looking for some great stories, some hockey warriors, this is the book for you. And your uncle, by the way. I'm told a lot of people buy my books for their uncle. The chapters, they call them uncle books, so I'll take that.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Available on Amazon now. Is that the best way to get it? The next one?
Amazon right now, in bookstores everywhere, October 21st. Yeah. So
congratulations, Ken.
Thanks, buddy. This is... I'm like you, Rod. I think you're a bit of a sports romantic, and you've spent a lot of time on the road, and that's kind of how I look at it too. So yeah, as Dickie Dunn says, right, trying to capture the spirit of the thing. That's all we're doing. And I had the honor of dropping off the book to a scout this guy's an absolute genius, Paul Henry. He put together Canada's Olympic team in '94 or '92. One of his first jobs was a psychologist at Millhaven Maximum Security. Yeah, so how do you go from Millhaven Maximum Security to scouting in the National Hockey League and in the Dub and in the Q? So we'll get to the bottom of that. And that's what I learned from doing this book, Rod, is these guys aren't all just not all just rink rats. Your scouts come from kind of everywhere.
I was going to say, is the answer Jesus, but it is. I don't need it's God. It's God. It's God. And I'll just only say this. At that Hall of Fame induction in Okotoks for the Scouts this summer, July 29th, yes. I was at it. It's 400 Scouts in the room, and I always felt sheepish in there because my dad and all his buddies, I'm like, they're the ones doing the work. We as the broadcasters get all the glory. Let's be honest. And all we're doing is talking about the game. These guys are the guys doing the work. But at least they're finally getting recognized with the Hall of Fame in your book. So I'll tell you again, this is genuine when I say it. I can't wait to read it. And thank you for shedding light on the backbone of the sports industry and all the sports. It's the Scouts. The players are the lifeblood. The Scouts find them. I can't let you go before asking you a little bit about the National Hockey League here. We're on the air across Nevada. Game Plus is anchored in Toronto. Two pretty big franchises there. With McDavid off the board and the Panthers all hurt, what's the biggest story now going into the season here on opening day?
For me, personally, biggest story, and who's going to sign Carter Hart? Who's going to sign Mikey McLeod? Somebody's going to do that, and maybe all hell will break loose, but somebody's going to do it at some point this season, because ultimately somebody's going to look at their team and go, we can add a piece. We can add a piece. So I think who's going to sign those guys, and that will be an explosive story when it takes place, I do believe.
There's no doubt about that. We can actually go down that road. Those are two of the 5 players that were charged for the incident in London from 2018. But I think about that, and this is a different time than Michael Vick. This is a different time than guys that have either been accused of crimes or actually spent jail time. It's different now. I do think those teams will sign them. Like Vegas was linked to Carter Hart. I don't know whether that report is true or not, but I'm sure the teams are thinking, there will be a to-do, but they'll get over it. Are we there?
I think so. It depends on the market. I say in a Canadian market, no way. But in a U.S. market, I think it'll happen. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it will be the biggest story of the season now that the McDavid contract's out of the way. By the way, holy smokes, good deal for the Oilers. But I think that'll be the biggest story to happen in the league this year, perhaps. But if I'm Florida, I'm not worried about, Tkachuk being out or Barkov being out. They're still a good team. They'll still make the playoffs. Although I noticed none of our insiders predicted them to win the Atlantic Division. But, Rod, we both know division banners don't mean that much at the end of the day.
They proved it last year. Well, the Leafs won it last year. Which, speaking of, a fun question I've been asking my pundits when they come on is who has the better year, the Vegas Golden Knights or Mitch Marner or the Toronto Maple Leafs? Best year defined by who's playing longer.
By who's playing longer? Mitch Marner. Yeah, Mitch Marner.
That's
the Leafs are Leafs are getting there. I love what Treliving's doing because he put the regular season fantasy team, the way they've been run, out the window. He's building them for the playoffs. I love what they're doing in Toronto. For a lot of years, I didn't love what they were doing in Toronto. I think that I expressed that to you, that they were built for the regular season, not the playoffs. Now I think they are built for the playoffs. It's just it's a long road in the playoffs. And once you get in there in the East, the East is tough, man. So whether they'll get over that hump or not, I don't know. But I do like Vegas and I do like Dallas in the West. And you got to give Edmonton a nod too. So those would be my top 3 in the West.
Well, we got about 4 minutes here. And I got to ask you this. This is my last one. With rivalries, we love rivalries, of course. We got the Yankees and the Blue Jays doing their thing. Last week, we had the Yankees and the Red Sox. Battle of Alberta, always great. Right? They get going Wednesday. Battle of Florida is clearly now a thing. Where's Habs Leafs? Yeah, where's Habs Leafs? Like, you don't hear it like it was.
No. Well, Habs Leafs is for a generation before me, right? Habs Leafs goes back to Paul Harrison in 1978, right? I was 4 years old then. Habs Leafs, for us romantics, Rod, it means something. But I think for a 25-year-old fan, it doesn't mean much right now until it fully gets going again, which is kind of a sad thing.
Very.
The Battle of Ontario, it's not a Battle of Ontario. I don't even call the Battle of Alberta the Battle of Alberta anymore. I call it Calgary plays Edmonton because we both know what the Battle of Alberta was, and this is not the Battle of Alberta compared to what it once was. Now, maybe we have the Battle of Florida again. I'll give you that. But yeah, Habs Leafs, I mean, it's awesome to start the game showing, Jean Beliveau going in on Johnny Bower or Red Kelly going up against, I don't know, Boom Boom Jeffrey on, but it's just not there right now. However, I will say this. I think the funnest power play to watch in the NHL this year will be Montreal. I love that talent they have back there. I love it. Love it.
Well, that's one of my questions, too, is who has more points this year in the standings when all's said and done, Montreal or Ottawa? AJ Jakovic, the hair that's left on the back of his neck bristled. He's like, what do you mean? It's going to be Ottawa. Montreal doesn't have a second. Come on, Ottawa. AJ, take off your Ottawa.
Exactly. He's an Ottawa guy now. He's not an Edmonton guy anymore, is he?
No, I feel like it's got to be Montreal.
I think you're right, Rod. And I'm not just saying that to tick off AJ, but yeah, it's got to be Montreal. They're kind of built for the regular season now. But I love what the Jack-Eye boys did the other night, right? You guys had the nonsense between Tampa Bay and Florida. We had the nonsense between Montreal and Ottawa, and then Ottawa goes out the next day and gets McDermott, right? Like they're like, oh, okay, message sent. So I love sending a message in the preseason. I love that Montreal goes, we're not going to be shoved around. And what a better time to send a message in the preseason, right? But yeah, I'll go Montreal for sure.
Well, to the rivalries, it's just this. You say our age. We're not young, Ken, clearly. But it's when I turn on Leafs Habs on Sportsnet, Hockey Night in Canada, lights are down, anthems on.
Yeah.
That's still a thing for me.
For us.
That's still a thing for us.
You think it's a thing for people under the age of 30, though? But it sure is. That's a thing for me. It's definitely a thing for me.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one tonight, too, with Barad and the Panthers and the games. It's on, man. Let's have fun. Kenny, I love what you're doing. Keep it up, and good luck with the book, the next one. I can't wait to read it.
Thanks, Rod. Call me anytime. I'll check back in, buddy. And I really appreciate what you do, as you know.
I appreciate all the support, and I appreciate you like jumping right in. You're like, yes, I'm in.
Sure.
That means a lot to me. So Ken Reid from Sportsnet and best-selling author. We'll be right back here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. Game Plus Television Network is where we're at, and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. So proud to be talking to you all across the state of Nevada. I'll say this. This is our second week now. 5, 6, 7, 7th show. And when we started there on Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, I felt like the quarterback, the young quarterback, everything was going so fast. And then I had to walk it back and go, it's just what you do all the time. Episode number 1592 today of the RP show. But that's the benefit I get of working with these athletes in the mental health and recovery world. I learn from them, and it's like, just slow it down. The play on the field, the more experience you get, the slower it gets. Or a pitcher on the mound. Same thing. And glad for the reaction that we've had. You can always text us here, 902-518-3033, with whatever you would like to talk about. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Check them out online at westerndodge.ca. And by the way, Hour 2 is brought to you in part by Outlaw Communications. When you're looking for strategic communications with impact, Outlaw Communications delivers, led by Tony Plater with 35 years of communication and leadership experience. He specializes in media relations training, leadership coaching, and crisis communication strategy. Check him out at tonyplater.com. That's with 2 Y's. tonyplater.com, 2 Y's. Sports update. Here's the latest in a crazy story, brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone, your home for jerseys, collectibles, and all the gear you need. Visit them today or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca. A truck driver has filed a lawsuit now against former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez and Fox Corporation following a bloody fight police say was started by Sanchez. The lawsuit, filed Monday in Indiana, accuses Sanchez of starting a fight outside a downtown Indianapolis hotel. The altercation left the 69-year-old truck driver, Perry Toll, with severe injuries. Toll also stabbed Sanchez during the fight. Prosecutors say the dispute began over parking. Sanchez faces a felony battery charge and several misdemeanors. Toll's lawsuit seeks damages and attorney's fees. Sanchez was in Indianapolis for Fox's coverage of a game on Sunday. Fox Corp has not committed on the lawsuit. Wild story, yes. Jerry Jones has said, hold my beer. Dallas owner Jerry Jones says his obscene gesture toward fans at MetLife Stadium late in a 37-22 victory over the Jets was inadvertent, and that he intended a thumbs up for celebrating Cowboys fans. Jones was caught on a video that went viral, smiling widely as he pointed towards fans before briefly flashing the gesture on Sunday. He said on his Dallas radio show today he was interacting with Dallas fans, not Jets fans. Jerry called the gesture inadvertent and that he put up the wrong finger on the hand. Who's believing this? And I'm a Cowboys fan. Here's what I would say. No, I'm a Cowboys follower. True disclosure, I didn't watch the Cowboys-Jets game. Number one, it wasn't on our television here. And I'm too cheap to pay for Red Zone or whatever the hell it is. And the other thing, the Dolphins game was, I knew that we were going to have our way with the Jets, and we did. Jerry, here's what we say in the recovery world. That's not apologizing. Letting air out of the tire and then apologizing means nothing. Put air back in the tire. What are you going to do, Jerry, for Jets fans? That's what I want to know. Words mean nothing. Show it. Put up the wrong finger. I'm going to use that one. The Blue Jays look to take another step toward the World Series when they take on the Yankees tonight in New York. Blue Jays enter Game 3 of the ALDS, up 2-0. Our poll question is, are they going to sweep it? 57% of you saying yes. I'm in the 43% saying no. They'll end it Wednesday. The sports update is for Ultimate Fan Zone, proudly presented by them. Get your game day gear in store, Main Street Moose Jaw, or online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Where does the time go? Overtime is coming up next. Now's the time to get your questions and comments in. 902-518-3033. Western Dodge text line. What we've been doing. NHL, NFL, largely, and a little baseball today. Hit us up, 902-518-3033. We'll be right back here on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world, thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world, thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. We're back for overtime. Are you looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot? That's a hockey shot. Look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. With state-of-the-art shooting lanes, top-notch equipment, it's the ultimate training destination for players of all ages and skill levels. As I say, it's an amusement park for hockey players. Check out their social channels at Overtime HL on Instagram, Overtime Hockey Lanes on Facebook. Tell them the RP Show sent you. Going to have a kooky topic and then a serious one, but I'm glad you asked, Jeff, the Stamps fan. But before I do that, we mentioned earlier, point 5 of the Quick 6 show topics had to do with Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky and Henrik Lundqvist have signed multi-year deals to continue their roles as TNT Sports NHL analysts. Gretzky's been with the network since it got U.S. national media rights in 2021. Henrik is going into his 4th year in studio with TNT. I love them both. I like Wayne's analysis a little more than King Henrik's, but they're both good. Wayne Werbavetsky's watching. He writes in, he says, does anyone really want Gretzky back on TNT after his turncoat attitude for the Four Nations series? Doesn't even wear a Canadian jersey at the final? A Mar-a-Lago Trumper. Dude, maybe get over it. Like, hello? Are you still holding on to this? That actually dovetails into Jeff the Stamps fan. Wayne's waited this long to finally show his face, not that he did anything wrong, and then you jump on him the second that he whack. Maybe get over it, bud. Sometimes the Canadian accent jumps out. Jeff the Stamps fan writes in, he says, in your recovery profession, 8 years here working as a professional recovery coach, mental health and addiction recovery, 10 years sober myself. Jeff says, are you more of an expert in substance abuse or other addictions as well? I'm glad you said that, because as any addiction professional will tell you, it's not about the substance. It's about the addiction. It's not about the type of drug. It's not about the alcohol. It's not even really about the behavior. It's about what you're trying to cover up, what you're trying to run from. What's the pain point? The addiction is the Band-Aid. We want to look at what caused the bullet hole. What caused that hurt? That's what we do. So, but that's my passion, Jeff. So that's why I appreciate you asking about. I could sit and talk about that forever. But when I got my intervention training in New York back in 2017, Earl Hightower led it from Hightower and Associates in Hollywood. And he said, stay out of, if you've never been, an overeater, food addiction, if you don't have a sex addiction, everybody thinks they do, but you actually don't unless this is what you're dealing with. Or the behaviors, because if you haven't dealt with that, just stick to your thing. And so that's what I stick to, is the substances, not the behaviors, but it's all trying to run from something. And we need to find out what that is. Because for me, I didn't really like drinking. I didn't really like being drunk. I hated who I was sober. So I figured out, hey, fix that. You don't need to drink. You don't need to do any of these things. People call me boring. I laugh. Thanks. Good. This is better than that. Ask Mark Sanchez. Rich in Edmonton writes in, he says, terrific stuff, Rod. Thank you, Rich, and thank you, Jeff the Stamps fan, for asking, because nobody ever does. Just see, it ain't that glamorous. I can tell you that. Nobody's walking around masquerading as a recovery coach because nobody wants to do it. I didn't plan to do it. Well, I can also tell you that for free. 902-518-3033. Ron in Calgary writes, and he says, great show, Rod. Oh, boy, the season is here. How about that Flames Oilers game Wednesday night? They're jumping right into the deep end. Battle of Alberta, opening night. I'm going to tell you, we got it beat here in Florida with the Battle of Florida. And Vegas needs to get a rivalry. I'll tell you, as the days go on, about my conversations with Bill Foley, the owner of the Golden Knights back in the day. They really wanted Arizona to be a rival, and Arizona dropped the ball on that. And now they're not even there. Kirk in Toronto writes in, he says, hi, Rod. Some of your viewers have Trump derangement syndrome. Listen, some of my friends do. So I don't really go down that road. I'm like, it's just leave Wayne alone. It's kind of, where we're at with that. Brad in Winnipeg says, you're welcome, bud. Thank you, Brad, regarding the Alexander Barkov story the other day where I said, I couldn't remember earlier in this, I said I couldn't remember what the term was, what it was. I saw him at the ring ceremony last night for the Florida Panthers. And I had a brain fart. It was a brace that he had on. I couldn't think of the word. Rob writes in from Windthorst. He says, Andrew Ference had the same thing happen as Jerry Jones in the 2011 Bruins Habs first round series after scoring a goal in Montreal. He said his glove got stuck. I would tend to believe Andrew Ference, not Jerry. Oh, yeah, I just happened to stick up the wrong finger. It could happen to anybody. Hasn't it happened to all of us? He can get off that easily. I think I got to go drop some more money with my advisor. I got to ask her, what the hell? Nathan Rourke can rip the commissioner of the CFL. The girl from the WNBA can rip the commissioner. Jerry can give the fans the finger and say, oh, wait, I was the wrong finger. What? I know. Producer Corey says he hates when it happens. Like, why even have discipline anymore? Yet in the meantime, the Tampa Bay Lightning are getting dinged $100,000 for Saturday night fights here in American Bank. I don't know. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. That's why you come here, to escape reality, whatever the hell that is. It's a lot better than substances. I'll tell you that for free. Okay, we're out of here, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Same great television station, same time. Be good to yourself, and most importantly, no, just yourself.
That